Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Potsmoker's Bible, and welcome to the sixth episode of Dreams of Zion series. I am Zion, and these are my dreams. These are my daydreams of the people that I'm hoping to help by creating Zion. Zion, of course, is the prophecy of Israel from the Old Testament, or Ketuvim. And this prophecy is the basis of the stories that I'm telling. And I'm telling stories um, about the camp out for peace, which I hope to have someday. If the prophecy follows its logical course, then that's our next big thing. We will go camping. And we will go camping as a strike to protest police brutality, the monetary system, and the war on drugs. Because these three elements in our society cause more pain and suffering than any other. And it is my hope that we can avoid a bloodbath of the revolution and instead follow the example of the Bible, Moses, and go camping and call on God. Now, according to the prophecy, God is supposed to come to the camp when we go camping. And that is the idea. My theory is if we go camping and call on the gray will land. And we will remake society in their image. And today's story is about one of a big element of this whole entire story, which is that of the telepath or empathic person. Um, According to the prophecy, everybody who uses drugs has the potential to be a telepath or an empath. And that is through these psychic abilities that we are able to speak to and hear from the gray aliens. So today's story is going to be about a young telepath named Ashley. Ashley is she's from the Midwest, but she ran away from home. Her stepfather was abusing her, and he had raped her on more than one occasion. And because of this rape, she had turned to using drugs. And during one of these rape episodes, Ashley heard a voice in her head that sent her empathy, emotions of calm, peace, and love that saved her from suffering worse from the rape. And this voice told her that she needed to leave. Said, doesn't matter where you go, honey, you have to go somewhere. Other than here, you have to get away from this man. So she took the advice of the voice and she went to California. She wanted to be an actress. We all have those dreams. So she goes to Los Angeles, to Hollywood, and she gets in with a group of other kids about her age who are also runaways. And these kids have banded together in order to survive. Now, at this point, from the moment that voice started to speak to her, she was afraid because only crazy people heard voices. And so she considers herself to be crazy. And there wasn't just this one voice, there were many other voices too. And some of these voices were not nice at all. But she clung to that first voice that spoke to her. And through the course of time, she shut out the other negative voices. She refused to do what they wanted her to do. She refused to believe what they wanted her to believe. Instead, she listened to that one voice that had been the first. Now, she had gotten into a group of young runaways. And in this group of young runaways, there were others. There were about 12 kids. But 3 of these kids were empathic and telepaths. But all 3 of them were just as afraid of these voices as she was. Now, without even realizing what was happening, these 3 kids, Ashley, Braden, and Jessica, these 3 kids kind of could, they were like really tight best friends. And they became the leaders of this group because they seemed to just know when it was good, it was okay to go out, when it was okay to do certain activities, and when it was not. So these 12 kids formed a group. And shortly afterwards, one of these kids got up one morning and said, "Up, it's my 18th birthday today, as you may know, and I am going to go get a job." And they had a big party for him. And he went out and he got a job. And he met a girl and he moved in with them. Now, periodically, when he could afford to, he and his girlfriend Jenny would come around to the secret hiding place and give them money and food and make sure that everything was okay. And by this means, Ashley and her crew got through even during the pandemic. Well, it was during this time that Jenny came upon a YouTube channel about this woman who wanted to go camping. And this woman was a telepath. And Jenny could feel the telepathy just coming off of her, like most people do. And she decided that she was going to go camping. So she introduced Joe, her buddy, to Zion, to the channel. And they both just got into it because Zion's cool. And anybody, just ask anybody who's watched it, Zion is fucking cool. So anyway, they go to the burned out building where the kids had made their home, and they tell them about Zion, about this lady who wanted us all to go camping and to come together and start a new society. A society based on prophecy and based on telepathy. That was what sold Jenny because she was a telepath. But being a telepath, she sensed in Ashley and Braden and Jessica a telepathic link. So she decided to take them in her car when they went to Zion because she was so ready to proudly display her telepathic abilities. So they get in her little car and they start off down the road. And in the minds of these three kids, they hear this. Hello, Jenny talking here. If you can hear me, please say something out loud. And all three of them are like, what? Okay, Jenny says out loud. You heard me. If you heard me, say something in your mind. And all three of them are like, okay, we heard you. What's this? And Jenny's like, I want to introduce you guys to each other. You are all telepathic. I could sense it the minute I walked into the room. And I think you could probably sense it too. And they were like, well, yeah, you did kind of, we liked you. Well, that's part of it, she said. And she explained to them that they were each telepathic, that she could sense their emotions and sense their thoughts. And when they all three realized, oh my God, you're a telepath too? They looked at each other and they were like, ah! Screaming literally with joy. Because up until that moment, all three of these kids were convinced that they were crazy, that the voices in their head were their mark of insanity. But here was this chick talking to them with her mind and making them realize that they were all telepathic. And so, the three of them, all three, simultaneously, released all of their fear and anxiety. All that society had conditioned them to believe about themselves, about their empathic and telepathic abilities, in that one moment was just wiped away. I'm not crazy after all. I am a telepath. I'm empathic. And that is not crazy. Believe me, I know. It's not crazy. It's a wonderful, wonderful ability that has many, many advantages to it. But it is a hard-won ability, as each of these three kids knew, because they had each been put through a very traumatic experience that had opened up their psychic abilities. And they had come together, sensing the abilities that they had, and using them innately, without even realizing what they were doing. And as such, they had created for themselves a psychic link, which had kept them safe for all the years that they were associated together. But when they got to Zion, oh, a whole new world was opening up to them. The very idea that telepathy is a thing and not a cause of insanity. And it's that one realization, will change so many lives. And so our three runaways get to Camp Zion, and they become part of a guild, the Priests Guild, where they they are taught their psychic abilities, how to use them, and how to live with them safely, which is one of the main points about Zion. Everyone who does drugs or has had very traumatic experiences who hear voices can say, I'm not crazy after all. I'm a telepath. I have the ability to use my mind in ways that normal humans don't. I am gray, because gray is telepath. So may the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm, and may they teach you right from wrong, and may you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light the unicorn way. Find your joy and pursue it. Make that your guild choice. Stay happy and high. If you use drugs, you have every right and reason to. Know that I love you. I'll never say goodbye, so I'm going to say later now.